In this video, we're going to be installing this brand new Vaillant EcoTec Plus. Now, if you can't tell, this is in the loft. So I had the joys of trying to get this boiler into the loft and it was a nightmare. I'm so lucky I had help. But if you are a homeowner watching this and you do want to get a free instant quote on a new boiler installation, there's a link in the description. But the first thing we need to do for this job is remove the old boiler. So to do that, I'm going to drain the boiler using the PRV. I'm going to then take out the flue. And one thing I love on a boiler installation is when the flue isn't cemented, because it comes out so easily. Now the flue is out of the way, I'm going to charge the expansion vessel to push out any excess water inside the boiler, so then when I'm carrying it throughout the house, it's not spilling black sludge everywhere, because I have had that happen before and it was a nightmare. In terms of the cables, this is our live neutral earth, this is the thermostat. So thermostat, we're putting in a new one so we can get rid of that. These cables can just get yanked out, and there we go, that is the boiler off the wall. Next, we need to remove this bracket, which also holds the expansion vessel. The flue position of these boilers are very different, so I'm going to have to move these electrics to the left so I've got more space, and I'm probably going to have to move this board over to the left as well. Now, in terms of getting this boiler in the loft, there were times where my back felt like it was going to get snapped in half like The Exorcist, because the back of the boiler kept getting caught on the little pegs of the ladder. Now, it is my fault. I should have adjusted the angle of the ladder so it wasn't as steep, and that would have made it a lot easier. But once I had the boiler in my hands, I was like, right, I've picked up the boiler now. I'm not putting it down. I'm doing this in one attempt. Let's do this. My ego may have got the better of me, but luckily I did have help. So the help was just guiding it up while I shoulder pressed it up. But the bracket is on the wall now, lined it up with the flue using a laser level, and this is the new boiler going on the wall. And as always, give the boiler a little pull, make sure it's not coming off. This boiler is solid, it's level, ready to do the flue. Right now, this is the old flue. I've used it just to make sure everything lines up perfect. It does. So now that I know that, I can pull out this old flue, slide in the new flue, join the flue to the elbow, and cement it all up. And that is the flue all done. Next, we're going to move on to the pipes. So for the pipes, one thing I really like about Vaillant is they come with these tails. So all you have to do is stick all the tails in, get a laser level, and then you'll be able to line everything up. After putting the laser level on each individual pipe, I now know where to put all of my clips. So I've also done a horizontal line so all the clips are nice and straight. And I personally believe one of the biggest things about making an install look nice is just the prep. Now that the prep is done, we can start piping it up. So I'm going to be pressing everything apart from the gas, because I'm low on gas fittings and I can't be bothered to buy them because they are so expensive. So this is me piping out the flow. Flow is very easy, one straight pipe, one elbow. Again, the same with the hot, come down, elbow in, nice and simple. For the cold, we're putting on this shock arrestor. We don't need to fit a fitting loop because the boiler has a fitting loop built in. So going to come straight down and then again elbow into the existing cold pipe after the isolation valve. And that is the cold pipe done. Now in terms of the return, I didn't realize, but my phone had fallen, so I didn't capture it properly. But I'm just coming straight down, and you'll see in this next video that I've just put the magnet going across horizontally and I've elbowed up, nice and simple. In terms of the gas, we will be soldering instead of pressing, because if you press, then you know how ridiculously expensive gas fittings are. So it gets to a point where after buying all the fittings, you just can't justify spending that much sometimes. So although I'm not a fan of soldering, to save that much money, I don't mind doing it. Just before I get the blowtorch out, I'm going to squeeze all of these fittings with my grips, because sometimes when you apply the heat to the fittings, they do slide and fall apart, and that's just another headache. So squeeze them all, they're not going to move anywhere. Now I'm putting my mat behind the fittings so I don't burn the backboard, and now we can solder it all together. If I am pressing on an install, then when it comes to the gas pipe, I will try to use the Yorkshire fittings because they have the little, don't know what to call it, rings on them that kind of makes it look similar to the press. So I feel like it matches a little bit more. Now, even though I am tapping my solder on the Yorkshire fittings, I'm not really applying extra solder. I'm just trying to gauge when it has fully melted, because when it comes to the straight couplings, it's very easy for it to drip if you apply the heat for too long. But that is the gas done. Now we need to move on to the condense and the PRV. Even though I had to cut back all of the pipes, I've got to say this one was really easy to pipe up. Condense was easy, PRV was easy. I've got two little bends on them, and that is the piping all done. Now we can move on to the thermostat and the wiring. Normally I would take the live and neutral from inside the boiler to feed the programmer, but the fuse burt already had a cable coming out of it to feed the programmer, so I used that, and then I've just ran one single cable for the RT inside the boiler. That's done. Switch it on and we can set this boiler up. Just before I put pressure into the boiler, I put the chemical into the towel rad in the bathroom downstairs. So now while I'm doing all my commissioning and checks, it's going to do a hot flush, and then by the time I'm done, I can drain it all out, put my inhibitor in, and the boiler will be good to go. But at this point, everything's done. Fully piped, boiler's fired up, it's currently flushing, and because it's in the loft, I'm going to put some lagging on the pipes, but that's this job done.